Hey everyone, it's Cheryl from Teaching 2 and 3-year-olds. We are having fun with our apple theme, and I hope you were able to see my previous video where I shared our classroom layout. But I wanted to do a separate video that shares what we've been doing during circle time because I get a lot of requests asking for that, and you can see all the props that we've used. First of all, let me just tell you about my class and where we're at. So as I've mentioned before, I have a very young group this year. I teach the 2s class, and most of my students won't be 3 until summer. I don't think I've ever had a group this young. And because of that, I've really been mindful to start simple. So we are going on week 4, and only now am I starting to introduce a little bit during circle time. In fact, a couple of times our circle time was really just our good morning song, and that was it, because I knew we weren't ready for more. And I hear teachers saying that all the time, and I just want to reassure you, it's okay. You don't want to force a circle time that just isn't going to happen. You can build on it gradually. So if all you're doing is a good morning song, that gets them used to coming to circle and having it be part of your morning or your day. So now that we have been here for, we're going, like I said, 4 weeks, we have been able to do our good morning song, and we have been able to do a little activity using props. But first, before I get into our apple props, I want to stress again, and I've talked about this in my most popular video, how to have a successful circle time. I'll drop a link to that video below if you haven't seen it yet. But you always want to make sure to have favorites in your circle time box or your basket or whatever you have that you can pull out at any time. And we started the year when we could do circle time with Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. And this was the one thing that really captured their attention because they pretty much all knew this song. They were familiar with it. So I don't want to put this away yet. So I'll keep using this song during circle time here and there because it's such a favorite with them. And I just make sure that I have enough stars so that they can each hold them while we sing the song. And another favorite is 5 Little Monkeys. And what I do is I have my props, and then I also make enough monkeys so the children can hold on to something. And again, having them be able to hold something that they can make jump brings them in. It makes them more connected to the activity while you were holding the prop. So I will put links to these props in this video's description, but I make sure to keep these in there, and we've been doing these regardless of the theme. Not everything you do has to be theme related, and I always make sure to have my favorites inside my box. As for apple theme circle times, the first thing that I always make sure I have is a prop that they can hold. And these apple props, this is a freebie that is on my website. And we have red, and we have green, and we have yellow apples. And I make sure each color is represented, that the children are holding them. You can stop right there, and you can simply just have them holding their apples while you sing apple songs or while you read apple books. If that's as far as you get, that's great. And the nice thing is that I have a lot of apple songs in my October Spotify playlist, which I'll drop a link in the video's description. The reason why it's in October instead of September is because I used to do the apple theme in October. This year, I moved it to September, but I didn't change out of the playlist. So again, I'll just drop that link to make it easy on you. You'll find them in there, as well as some other fall songs too. Now you can take this one step farther if your students are ready. And you can then make extra set that I have laminated, and I have placed a little magnetic dot on the back, and then they can come up and they can tap the same color apple. And another thing you can do is you can do this activity by taking the props laminating them. They're not on sticks, but just like this, and you can hand them each an apple. And you can then have sorting bowls where you can have them place their apple in the same color bowl. And if you don't want to use the printables at all, maybe you have some colored apples that you could use, that the children could hold. These happen to come from the Apple Attributes set, which I love. We're using it on our light table right now. But this is something that you hand them each an apple, and they can come up and they can drop it into the matching colored bowl. What all of this is doing is not only working on color recognition, but you're just getting them engaged. They're not just sitting and listening to you. And I think circle time is probably what I get most emails about. That and centers time. But circle time probably even more, because teachers are frustrated. They say, my students won't sit, they won't listen. Exactly. They have too much energy to just sit and listen to you. Their attention spans are so short. So that is why I love using props, and that's why I have created lots of different props that you will find in my shop, and also a whole bunch of freebies that are in my website. Again, I will drop all these links in this video's description, so look below. Speaking of color sorting, color recognition, here is another way that you can do a fun sorting activity. So this is from our Apple Orchard set, and this is what we have in our dramatic play area right now that they absolutely love. And you can just take the apples, and it's very similar to what we did with the bowls, but now this could even probably be for older children. They don't have to know how to read, of course, because they're looking at the color, but older preschoolers could start perhaps recognizing the words red, green, and yellow. And then they can come up, you can hand them each one that you have a magnetic dot on the back, and then they can place it on the board. And for older children, you can have different amounts of apples for each color, so that when you're all finished and all the children have put their apples on here, you can say, let's count, how many yellow do we have? Let's count, how many green do we have? Let's count, how many red do we have? Which color has the most? Which color has the least? So you can easily add on to any of these activities depending on where your children are. And then this is another very similar activity. This is part of our Apple Orchard packet, and I actually have this over in our dramatic play area because the children have been having fun on their own independently taking the apples off. And then I have these cups here, and they can then take the apple and put it in the matching colored cup. But this is also a really fun circle time activity because the children can come up one by one, and they can pick an apple off the tree and put it into the matching colored cup. Then again, if you want to take this a step further, you can have different amounts of each color, and when you're all done, you can take the apples out of each cup and count them with your children. So this is fun, and again, I took a dry erase marker and I just drew the outline of a tree on it. And this is the sign that's part of the Apple Orchard. And again, fun for circle time, fun for an independent activity near your Apple Orchard dramatic play set. We also have these numbered apples. They go up to 10. So you can put them on a magnetic board, or you can put them on the floor. Then you can make duplicates so that each child gets one, and then they can just put their matching number underneath. Way up high in the apple tree, I don't think I realized how much my 2-year-olds would love this activity, and we have done it every day because they really love repetition, and that's why I like to do things several times. So we've done this twice now, and we will continue to do it this week. Way up high in the apple tree, I saw 4 apples looking at me. I shook that tree as hard as it could. Down came an apple. And it was good. So this is a printable that is part of our Song and Rhymes packet, volume number 2. And I copied the tree, and then I cut out the apples, and I attached them with Velcro. So that way I can pull them off easily. And then I handed the children the free apple props that I mentioned earlier, so they're holding one of these. And as we're singing the song, way up high in the apple tree, I pick each apple off until there are no more apples on the tree, and meanwhile the children are holding their apples and making their apples jump and move around. Yay! 5 apples! 5 apples in the tree! Put your apple up! And tap your head! Tap, 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 and tap your knee! Tap, 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 tap your shoe! Tap, tap, tap. And now I'm going to come around and you're going to put your apple in the cup. Another free activity that I have on my website is a color recognition activity, again, with apples. There's several different ways you can do this. The reason why I originally put this together was because I like to have my students bring in their favorite color apple, a real apple. And then they bring it to circle time and they place their apple. What color is your apple? Is it red? Is it green? Is it yellow? So they'll place their apple on top. And if an apple has different colors, then I'll say, what color does it mostly have? And so this is something fun that we do before I slice them up and we make applesauce. But another thing you can do is I also have these cards that come with it. So very similar to what we just talked about, they can just come up and they can put their cards in here. And then on my website, I show how I actually did this activity. This is when I was teaching 3- and 4-year-olds. I did it with a pocket chart. So if you want to see how I did that, the link is in this video's description. But again, it's just simply matching them. And this is a great, again, have them be different amount, each color. So red might have more, green might have less. So it can turn into a counting activity. If you're new to teaching 2- and 3-year-olds, a little tip I have for inviting the children to circle is having a basket of books in the center of your circle as the children come. So we have mats on the edge of our circle rug, and the children, when I sing it's time to come to the circle, they come and they get a book. And I have a video on this. I'll drop a link below if you want to know more detail about why and how I do this transition. So I thought I'd just share some of the books. Now, this is not all the books I will have in the basket. I just brought the themed ones here. I will also have other favorites as well. I don't always put just themed books in our basket, but I do change this out with every theme so that we have a fresh batch of books each time. But some of our favorites for the apple theme: 5 Little Apples, and Pat the Bunny at the Apple Orchard, and Apple, and Eat 'em Up Apples. And if you did want to add some paper books in there, if your children are ready, a couple more favorites. Peppa Pig goes apple picking, and Apples and Pumpkins. And we also, of course, have an entire library of apple books that are on our stand-up bookshelf as well. But these are just the ones that I actually take to circle, that I place in the middle of our circle time area that they can look at. So I thought I'd just mention those. And by the way, all of the links to everything I mentioned here and everything that we're doing in our Apple theme is in my Apple resource page. I put this together so that you can have ideas on all different Apple activities. I mean, art, science, circle time, music, books, Play-Doh, blocks. Think of all the areas of your classroom. I have ideas for all of it in that Apple resource page. Again, all these links are in the video's description, so check below. And one more thing. One thing I always like to mention is music. Music is so important during circle time. And what I like to do is separate my main circle time with my music and movement circle time. So we will start with our first circle time before snack, and that's our good morning song and one of these activities and maybe a book. And then when we come back from gym, I like to do music and movement. And I find with younger children, breaking up the circle times works well because they're shorter. You're not expecting them to be in one place for so long. And so I wanted to share our new stretchy band. When I was on Instagram over the summer, I noticed another school was using this with their toddlers. And I was intrigued. I thought I'd never used one before, and I really wanted to see how it would work. And so I just put this out, and the children come and they hold on to it. Sometimes we sit, sometimes we stand, and sometimes I'll just do something simple where I'll say, oh, let's go up and down, or in and out, in and out. Or I might do this to a song. So if you want to keep your theme apples, you could take an apple song and you can just do some movements back and forth or whatever you want to do with the children holding onto the band. And we're still getting the hang of this. And as I get more ideas on how to use this, maybe I'll do a blog post on it. But for right now, I'm getting used to this as well. But I'm happy to say that they love it. It's been a lot of fun. They love touching it. Often they'll shout out what color they want to hold on to. So that's been fun. We also have been enjoying using this with Nancy Kopman's music, especially Shake, Shake, Shake. So if you want to check out Nancy's music, I'll drop a link in the video's description. But with this one, shake, shake, shake. Everybody, everybody, shake, shake, shake. And then we go up and down and up and down. Another favorite that has really helped us this first month of school, especially with our teary children, because we still are having some separation anxiety. These are the best. These these bell shakers with the rainbow streamers. These are from Lakeshore Learning. I'm not affiliated with them, but I love them, and they're in wonderful shape. So we've been using this to Nancy's Shake, 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 and to other songs as well. And again, you can use these with Apple songs. Check out my Apple playlist, as I mentioned earlier, or actually my October playlist that has Apple songs in it. Just to have the children get up and dance to different songs. Getting them up and moving is so important, especially with the younger ones whose energy level is so high, especially towards the end of your day. That's when I really like to use these. So these are just some tips for our Apple themed circle time. Of course, there's always a lot more, and I would love to hear your ideas. So what has been working for you during your circle time, Apple themed or not Apple themed? We all could learn from each other, so make sure to mention it in the comments. And if you like this video, please do a thumbs up, because that tells YouTube to share this with more teachers who need these resources. Make sure to subscribe to Teaching 2 and 3 Year Olds on YouTube and click that bell icon so that every time I publish a new video, you'll be notified. Thanks for watching.